Alright, welcome back. Let's get into some baseball, more specifically this guy, Omar Minaya. Now, I'm not a Mets fan, but I don't really consider, I'm a Yankees fan, not gonna lie. But I really don't consider the Mets a rival. You know, they're a different league. The Red Sox are the rival.
Of course.
For me. Except for the 6 games that the two teams play, I really could care less what the Mets do. But I don't want them to do poorly. And it's just, it's bad seeing Omar Minaya completely screw this team over and over again. Yeah, he's made some decent moves, and the Mets got close, but the last couple seasons, he's really just dropping the ball.
I think there has been too much blame for the guys around Omar than Omar himself. I mean, granted, the owners of the Mets aren't the greatest owners to be working for, but you know what? When there is top talent on the market, you always hear about the Mets being in, a big competitor, and trying to go after him. Who did they really sign this year? Jason Bay.
That's it.
Why? They signed him for 4 years, $60-something million, but what other team was really competing with him? Not the Red Sox. The Red Sox cut their deal down from 4 to 2. Because his knees have been that bad. Omar Minaya said this morning last night on a talk show to a sports analyst, saying that he thinks that he got a great deal in getting Jason Bay because his defense is that high. Granted, they need a left fielder, and I said I would love for Jason Bay or Matt Holliday to come to the Mets, and I'm not a Mets fan either, but they needed someone to come in there and just, they needed that hitter. They have Carlos Beltran, but who can count on him? The guy's always hurt.
Yeah.
He was an inconsistent player in Houston, and he's been an inconsistent player here.
That whole debacle with him having his knee surgery, now he's out 12 weeks, so he's not coming back.
Omar, this is your team. You run it. You don't let these players do this to you. You're not a GM anymore. In my eyes, you are just a water boy sitting on the bench getting picked on now because these guys take advantage of you. You are not doing anything to help this ball club. This team doesn't need you. They need a respectable GM to come in there and clean up your mess for whatever you think you did. This Gary Matthews trade for Brian Stokes.
So honestly, Brian Stokes, look, the Mets need pitching right now. And this frustrates me pretty much like Brian Cashman does with the Yankees all the time. The Yankees, whenever they have a bullpen pitcher, and the last couple of years the bullpen has been the issue, except for Mariano Rivera. Getting to Rivera has always been the problem. Maybe the Yankees finally figured it out, but every time the Yankees finally had a guy, whether it was Scott Proctor or whether, just whoever else, they always trade him away for a useless offensive player. One of the worst trades the Yankees have done in recent years when they traded Scott Proctor away for Wilson Betemit. Wilson Betemit had one good game for the Yankees, maybe a couple.
Although we did trade Wilson Betemit for Nick Swisher, but we're not here about that. We're here about Omar Minaya.
Gary Matthews Jr. had one good season and got the big contract that he got. And now granted, the Mets have him. The Angels are going to pay most of his salary. They sent money over to the Mets.
What, is that the only part of the deal you can get? Is just the fact that they're going to pay his salary? I mean, come on. But granted, he'll be playing the bench role when Beltran comes in. Yeah. But I mean, where's the true point? There is still so many free agents out there that they could have touched on that would have made this team better. I mean, I'm looking at a list here right now. You got Johnny Gomes, who could fit in anywhere. Great power hitter.
Also, I don't agree with the Gary Matthews trade because just the Mets in the organization themselves. Angel Pagan was one of the better players that, I guess you can't say broke out because he's been in the league for a while, but Angel Pagan was one of their better players. He was one of the more exciting players.
Well, the Mets should just re-sign him today.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Angel Pagan, they should have just went with him, not bother trading.
But then Omar Minaya goes to the press conference today. We're really excited to get Angel Pagan back. And it's like, you had him. That's not new. These fans, you're losing respectable fans. I mean, I'm talking to one of my friends today who says he's barely rooting for the Mets anymore. He's now rooting for the Yankees. I mean, come on. Granted, they're not, in our eyes, the rivals, but a lot of Mets and Yankees fans don't like each other because they're both New York teams. There is a list of players out there. I mean, Gary Sheffield's never been the sweetheart to work with and have
Johnny
on your team.
Damon's available. If anything, the Mets should go after him.
Exactly. They need more of a solid hitter. I mean, they got a lot of power. It seems like now.
Granted, Damon not the best fielder, but he's better than
They
better than Gary Matthews. I'll say that.
They just signed, I believe, Fernando Tatis. Am I
He's
correct?
a first baseman, though.
Of course.
He helps your infield.
He helps your infield. But you know what? I can't look at Fernando Tatis and go, he's a bum. Because he's not that good. He's not the player that they need to come in and change the way the game's played for the Mets. They have fell apart too many times over the past couple of years to